Guilty Gear.
Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. I'm Leonidas this time with an exciting video about an exciting lucky thing that happened to me last week. So last week I was presented, actually it was maybe 2 weeks ago, I was presented with a code to try out the closed beta of Guilty Gear strIVe, also known as Guilty Gear 4. Now, a little backstory, I got into games with fighting games. That's why I got into video games. My first game that I ever bought for my Super Nintendo way back in the day was Street Fighter, and I was hooked. I loved it. I already played it in the arcades. I played it at home a bunch of times. I perfected everything. I played with all the characters. I also went up to play other fighting games like Fatal Fury, Art of Fighting, Samurai Showdown, and a bunch of others. And I really loved the genre. Now, with the advancement of years, they tried to get into 3D games. Street Fighter EX was one of those that tried in the beginning. There was also Virtua Fighters, but I never got really hooked on them because I like that 2D vibe that it had. In later years, they did manage to pull it off. Street Fighter 4 and Street Fighter V did that, but I kind of got less interested in them because the main focus of the games was not now the story or the characters or how the several characters interconnected, but more about the PvP, about the online PvP, about beating up another player somewhere else. And the story was just thinner, and I kind of lost track of it. Even with Blast Blue, which was one of the ones that I enjoyed the most, I feel that with every game the story didn't progress as much. It's just rambling around the same thing over and over and again, just putting new characters on the same plot. And I kind of was let down. And the last game I played, which was a fighting game, was of course Guilty Gear. It was Guilty Gear X Hard. And when it came out, I bought the online edition. I was okay. Now the DLCs are going to come, and I'm going to add them to them. But I couldn't do that. I think it was only with Guilty Gear XR Revelator that you could do that. So essentially, I had to buy the game all over again to start it again, and I just stopped. I just got frustrated about it, and frustrated with the industry itself, how they viewed and how they sell fighting games, which is now a lot more for esports and actually just for people to want to dive into the story and the universe. So yeah, I was a bit let down, and I didn't play for a lot of time. But then I heard about Guilty Gear strIVe, and they were handing out closed beta keys, and I was like, well, I might as well try it out to see how it is. And it's pretty much the same, really. Okay, game-wise, the game plays beautifully. I had only a couple of drop. I don't know if it's drop frames, but it's a little bit of lag doing blocks, special aerial attack blocks and low guard blocks. Sometimes they didn't register immediately, so I got my ass handed to me. But for most of it, it played beautiful. The animation is great. The graphics are amazing. I did notice a few problems in the graphics because they now use, instead of using 12 frames per second to look like animation, they use, I think it's 24 or 30. But they also added a lot of camera movement. And when the camera moves around the character, you can see that sometimes the lines or the shadows change drastically or split too drastically, and so it doesn't really give you that feel of 2D. It gives you more the feel that like it's a 3D painted. And I didn't really enjoy it. It didn't really trick my eye as much like it did before. But it's still, playing wise, it still runs perfectly. I play mostly with Shift Zanap. I like because the fact that he's a ninja, and because he is fast to do combos and change directions, and you can be in one place and another and really fast. I must say that I didn't play, like I said, I didn't play for years, so it was kind of hard to get into the old motion again. I think I did a little bit well just because I have that what they call muscle memory, and so I was able with a joystick to do most of the hits just without really thinking about it. The other one I tried a lot and I like a lot is Soul Bad Guy. Although in this version, in this Guilty Gear Strive, I feel that his hits are, I don't know if it's not as powerful, but at least they don't have the same reach. The only thing that has a good reach is his kick, and it's not really that strong. And you know, you really have to be too much on top of characters. And of course, other players know how to block everything, and I'm just, you know, trying out to, you know, do a test server and all that. And of course, speaking of servers, I went into the lobby, and I know a lot of people have a lot of problems with the lobby. First of all, there's character profile. The profile is really just a pixel. You can't really dress him or make him look like one of your favorite Guilty Gear characters. I guess one of the reasons is because we don't really know what characters are going to be included in the game. I know because in the end we have to submit a survey, just such a questionnaire, just to, you know, give feedback to our systems about how we felt about the game. And in there was a lot of names. What characters would you want to see in Guilty Gear? I remember like about 5, but there's about 20 or 30 names in there, and I don't know what the hell most of them are. So maybe they didn't include all the customization in your avatar to look like a Guilty Gear character because they don't know what characters they're going to be included in the game. So they just did this. It's not bad, but I think it could be improved. Another thing about the lobby is just the whole UI of it. I'll get into the UI later, but the entire system seems to be a little bit cluttered. There's a lot of things there that we don't really know what they're there for. They're just, you know, in development, so we don't know. But one of the things that did caught my attention that I thought should be worked on is you have the list of players in your lobby, and you can directly from the list just challenge him. Also, I was trying to find someone to fight. I wanted to fight against Axel Low, but you know, I went to the I was looking for the chat window. The chat window is hidden. It's not always visible. You have to open it up, and I want to fight Axel written there, but I don't think anybody really sees that because that thing is not visible. And again, with all that color, I don't know how they're going to make it visible. But chat windows are really one of the main things they should work on. Another thing now, going back to the UI, when you start the fight, you see an eagle. The eagle graphically could be improved because it doesn't look like a drawing. It really doesn't trick your eye like that. You know, you can clearly see it's a 3D animation. So maybe they could put a different angle, or maybe just add more lines to it to make it look more like a drawing instead of a model. And then of course there's the UI when you finish the mission. I mean, there's a lot of pinks and greens in there. And I was like, and this goes similar to the lobby UI. I mean, I remember Guilty Gear having, you know, a lot of chains, a lot of gear wheels, a lot of vault doors, a lot of fire. And this UI seems like, I don't know, something made for a 12-year-old in Japan or something. I mean, maybe it's what's trending with the kids right nowadays. I wouldn't know, but you know, I always had that rock and roll feeling playing Guilty Gear, and this one, the lobby and the UI didn't feel like it. I mean, the lobby looks like a palace, really. It doesn't look like a mercenaries hideout or a junkyard or anything like that. I think they could improve that. I don't know if they are working on it, or if they can change it from here to until the end of the game. I don't know if these things can be changed that quickly and that drastically. But you know, I think they could have created like a map where you start in the slums and then you end up in the VIP building palace. You know, having that trajectory where you start and when you land. And they also could change the UI to be a lot more visually perceptive what you do, because you know when you finish the fightings, there's a little graphic to the left, but there's I don't know, it shows your guards or your aggressiveness or your defensiveness, and I looked at it and I really couldn't understand. The first time I looked at it, I was like, why is this here? Why wasn't this, you know, like on the bottom being bigger or on the left being bigger? I don't know. It's something they could, if that's what people want to see. I mean, I'm not really interested because, like I said, I stopped playing fighting games because they didn't develop the universe enough. They didn't develop the stories enough. It's all about online PvP and about smashing the other guy on the other side of the line, and yeah, about esports. And I don't like that. I don't. It's one of the reasons that drew me away from these types of games. But Guilty Gear Strive plays beautiful. It looks amazing. I hope they can work up these kinks until the next probably next beta, next tryout, maybe there'll be a demo which will have more of the story, more maybe of training and challenges. I do enjoy challenges, the challenges that you have to do this type of combo in this time frame. I do like those things. Some of them can be very frustrating, of course, but it's a little something that you can do for yourself just to prove that you're good, not just I'm gonna log in and beat up some kid in China or something like that. So yeah, that's my opinion of it. I enjoyed it. I hope everybody gets to try it out. Maybe it'll come out a demo. If you enjoyed the video, please like and subscribe. And as always, have a great game, guys.
Slap. 退屈さ